Sheila, what a pleasure to join you today, knowing what good work you do. I'm Sarah Biller. I'm the Executive Director of Vantage Ventures, but I'm also the co-founder of the Fintech Sandbox. Of course, my life, I've been an entrepreneur. I've been an industry executive in financial services, driving innovation, an academic. And today, really through Fintech Sandbox, I hope through that work that we're a catalyst for next generation innovation in financial services by providing entrepreneurs access to high quality data sets, both for free and without any equity. I'm based in Boston, although I also have an office in the northeastern part of West Virginia, where we're taking financial applications and fintech into the heartland to really prove our thesis around inclusivity and sustainability by supporting entrepreneurs who are there on the ground solving the next generation of challenges. Great question. We're kind of the OG in the sandbox world. There are multiple forms of sandboxes. We came together with my co-founder, David Jagan, in 2014 to contemplate creating an environment where entrepreneurs, again, could come and access high quality data sets for free and overcome the stall point that was then existing at that time period in just the procurement process of data, the cost, and then really knowing where to go to get the data sets they needed to be building these next generation applications. It was a challenge I confronted with my own company, which was a predictive analytics platform for institutional bond investors. At that time, it was very difficult to get access to consistent pricing data in the institutional bond markets. It frankly still is, but that was further encumbered by a very long, extended, and again, expensive procurement process. So we began our origin story in Boston, working with some of the very talented fintech entrepreneurs we know today, like the founder and CEO of Kensho, and from there have grown. We're a global program today. We serve entrepreneurs on every continent but Antarctica, and they're building beyond those capital markets data sets to deliver analytics and solutions for community banks, new payment rails as an example. They're working in areas that are important today to consumers, like solving for student loan challenges. So it was an exciting thesis in 2014. And today in 2023, we've worked with over 250 entrepreneurs, and we don't see this innovation cycle in fintech stopping anytime soon. And certainly the criticality of data is ever increasing. Yeah, well, we certainly have seen, I'm of the belief, and we've seen this over 2,000 years, that for a stable and well-functioning financial services system, we have to work every day to make every individual part of it. So inclusivity is a table stakes for, again, a well-functioning society. And I don't think we'll ever give up on that effort, particularly from the innovation side. And then when you layer on the other objective we have in Fintech Sandbox, and that's to provide the data sets necessary for entrepreneurs who are also in the sustainability side of that equation, you begin to understand that we have also long thought about sustainability in the way that we make our investments. But at Fintech Sandbox, it's our belief that we also have to support the next generation of fintech entrepreneurs, not just those who are enabling a better, more sustainable and transparent, frankly, investment process, but those that are actually seeking to solve societal problems. Sustainability for us means embedding fintech in adjacent areas like healthcare, like renewable or, expanding energy, like transportation, again, for that idea that we want to help advance the future of financial services to build a better system globally. Yeah, I mean, I think if you really thought about innovation, and it's full of cycle and fintech, you might be tempted to just think about it again as an industry category. Financial services is a very large and profitable vertical that we can innovate all day long. A better way to move, global securities, remove the friction in payments over borders. There's just a tremendous aperture of opportunity in our industry. But then when you begin building out and contemplating where fintech actually has a role in for instance, closing the disparity gap between the delivery of healthcare in an urban setting versus a rural setting by maybe doing dynamic pricing, better payment cycles, you could make the argument that we need to begin to think about innovation through the lens of not just an industry vertical, but using fintech horizontally and other categories to solve very seemingly intractable societal problems. I think I would argue that our supply chain challenges that we confront today that lead to food insecurity in the United States could be solved by the overlay of a much more rigorous approach to fintech and by the way, in insurance in the supply chain of the acquisition of food and its distribution. Yeah, Sheila, that's such an important question. What we saw from our vantage points, being working with entrepreneurs, is that COVID and the pandemic accelerated the adoption of digital tools, of the ability for individuals to bank anywhere they were or conduct their financial lives, not just banking, but conduct their financial lives anywhere they were at any time. And of course, what's missing from that equation is for anyone to be able to do that. It is not universally true, again, that we have an inclusive financial services system, but certainly the pandemic was a catalyst that took years, frankly, off the life of the adoption curve of this cycle of innovation in financial services, just by necessity. We were in our homes needing to conduct our financial lives. It's like asking me to pick my favorite child. I will tell you though, some of the categories of fintech that we've supported at the Sandbox that I'm particularly passionate about and really have, I think, really created a sea change in the way I even think about my day-to-day, my contribution of time and capital, have been firms like Rialto, the marketplace that enables individuals and private, come in with some crowdfunding capital into private companies in areas that they are deeply passionate about. So the whole movement towards enabling and democratizing the access of investors, the everyday investor, into private companies is but one, attribute of these efforts. The other is that you're actually funding companies that actually are part of your passion, where you want to see change and solution. So I've loved the idea that Fintech Sandbox has offered, not just began, but has long offered data sets and infrastructure capability to enable those sort of fintechs to survive and thrive. Frankly, that's probably not just enough to say they're surviving, but they're thriving and motivating capital again off the sidelines. I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that I really am passionate about our companies that responsibly think about credit investing. Credit is arguably one of the forces that does make the global financial services world work, as well as that on Main Street. So I love that we support entrepreneurs with data, whether they're helping community banks think about the next generation of lending, and really looking towards lending as a means for financial mobility, to applications of how do you think about student loan repayment, that extension of credit, all the way through into the institutional markets who are helping. We work with companies who are helping, for instance, small municipalities more efficiently go to market with their debt and demonstrate the right data sets, so it's more effectively priced when they're trying to, build up their infrastructure or even green their infrastructure. So I think categorically, if I had to pick another area that I'm particularly pleased and passionate about that we support at Fintech Sandbox, it would be from the retail and institutional management of credit. Yeah, thank you. I should call out, there's an amazing team that on every day live to support the entrepreneurs at Fintech Sandbox, that really have created an efficient operating model where we don't need to wait for a cohort of startups to come together to serve them through data. We take requests on a rolling basis. You can go to fintechsandbox.org. We're not for profit, by the way, and submit an application and go through a series of conversations with our industry partners who participate, as well as the team, to make sure, frankly, you're ready to ingest the data. You can imagine what the benefit is of working with the major data providers like MSCI and FactSet and others, for them to offer you free access to their data set on an unlimited basis. So we vet very carefully the firms that come in, the startups, so we know they can handle the data, they can do something demonstratively with it already, and then for 6 months, they're part of our program. But you don't have to wait for a cohort. We have that process in place where it's very smooth to go through the application process, get approved, and turn on your data APIs. Yeah, well, I think what we believe is that once you're a Fintech Sandbox startup, you're always a Fintech Sandbox startup. So even though there's this 6-month period in which the data partners offer their data for free, it is our hope and our desire and our effort to see that the startups that we work with actually move forward into the market. They take their data-driven proof of concept to customers. They begin to generate a revenue stream. And if they still need testing, our data partners have developed a method of flexibility where we'll work with the startups to continue to provide them data on a one-off basis. And so we say take 6 months, work with urgency, work with efficacy to use this asset to get to market. But if you're not, we're still going to help you. We're not going to turn you out. And then we have other programmatic aspects where we feature our startups and put them in front of our industry partners. We have demo days. We're the sponsoring organization historically for Boston Fintech Week. We are in the process of planning symposiums, which will be smaller, more intimate gatherings where our fintech entrepreneurs are in close proximity to, if you will, institutional partners who might be buyers, who might be funders or otherwise. So it doesn't just stop at 6 months and we turn you out. It's such a good question. I actually have been thinking about the future of financial services. And what really is shifting in the industry, what is appearing on the landscape that may fundamentally alter the trajectory of the way that we deliver financial services. And I think that the easy answer here is that ChatGPT and other emerging generative AI platforms, or maybe even Web3, will alter the relationship between the customer, or us, as the customer, and that of the institution. And I do think time will tell. I think that entrepreneurs are beginning to very rapidly ingest these tools and find new ways to service the industry or direct to consumer. But I think, Sheila, what really is most important to us at this moment for 2023 is that we do not stop our investment or our energy around innovation. I've increasingly began to think we need to come up with a new theory of the firm, if you will, a new theory of approach, because the financial services sector itself will and actually does today look measurably different than the one that we entered into pre-COVID. And so we have a lot of work to do on our basics, and we should not give up doing that. Sheila, it's been my pleasure to get to know you, to know your passion, your capability, and all that you do for the industry. We would not be as far as we are without women like you. So thank you.